everybody, and welcome back to our college and pro football report for week 4, I believe it is, in the pros. And this is Harvard, sitting here with my friend Zack. And the first game we're going to look at is Louisville. They're playing Clemson. And before I say that, just so you know that we're very transparent here, we do something that most people don't do. I will let you all know I lost my high roller last week. And it hurt. It didn't even. It just wasn't. It just didn't get there. I got there on a bunch of other games and stuff like that for the week, but the one that I told everybody to call in for or write on that lower email just didn't get there. On the other hand, for 6 games over the weekend, Zack was 5-1. This week, I got my Pac-12 game of the year, and I tell you two things. This game, I like early season games before the odds makers figure the teams out, and it's going to be free. Just send it to that email, address it in the subject matter as Harvard. Well, let's get back to the Louisville Clemson game. And not every game that I give out or that Zack comments on, a lot of it's just for information. Doesn't mean that it's a betting game, and this might be one of those games, Zack. Back at the end of July when they came out with the early numbers, they do that all along. Clemson was favored by 10 points. When they opened the lineup this weekend, Monday, they came out and opened it at -3. But right now, we show that Clemson's +2. So that's a 12-point swing in the numbers in just 4 games, basically. Now, Louisville, they destroyed Florida State. Everybody knows that, 63-20. And here's where this is the reason I like Louisville. Louisville, if they were going to ever have a letdown game or a sandwich game, it would have been last week, because they just got through beating Florida State, and then 2 weeks later they're supposed to be playing Clemson. So sandwich in between. Who did they have? Marshall. Well, they cover that spread, beating them 59-28. It's 2 fast teams, probably the 2 fastest teams Louisville's going to meet this season is going to be Clemson or themselves in practice. That's how fast this team is. Lamar Jackson, I'm going to give him an A for the way he's come out of the box. 1,330 yards, but only 58% completion rate. It could be because he throws the ball so often, but I'll tell you what, he's a danger on his feet. 526 yards and 12 touchdowns. So he gets a grade of an A for Clemson. The quarterback, Deshaun Watson, I really don't feel like they're playing up to what they did last year. He's had already 4 interceptions. They really haven't beaten anybody. They beat Auburn. They just last week beat Georgia Tech. They only beat Troy by 6 points. But I tell you, I think their defense isn't quite the same. Everybody says it's the same, and they will find out this week if it's the same. But they lost 8 starters from last year. And, beating Georgia Tech last week, no great feat. So put my name next to Louisville, and I'm going to lay the 2 points.
Yeah, let's keep in mind, a lot of people like to listen to these free plays, and for the most part, these plays are not going to be on our premium board. So this is a good game to talk about, but all of our videos typically are not on our premium board. So people, if you're trying to win, make sure you access our plays via the websites. But this game here, first thing I thought of between Louisville and Clemson is last year's game on Thursday night. Very rough game for both teams. Louisville was in that transition phase. Offensively, they had nothing going the whole game. Defense kept them in the game. Never forget last year, Deshaun Watson that was probably his rustiest game. He had a lot of opportunities to complete the ball, and he just couldn't get it done. They were lucky to win that game, but he missed a lot of errant throws, and for whatever reason, because he wasn't getting hit, nothing like that, he was just missing his throws. So I really think Clemson is going to have the offense this time, but like you said, I think it's going to be their defense that lets them down. This Louisville offense, what makes you think that Clemson's defense is going to stop them? Syracuse, aggressive defense, got killed. Last week, Marshall, we won't talk about their defense, but Florida State's defense, absolutely murdered. And now you got a Clemson defense that, let's face it, their team last year with a strong defense had some very, very serious letdowns against North Carolina, against Notre Dame, on and on and on. And I think it's just different. You can't always handicap a home field advantage, and I think right here you've got Louisville with that offense is just too much. It's going to be an up and down game, but this year Louisville's set for to play that style. Last year they weren't, and I think it pays the difference in this one. Odds makers made a good adjustment on this, and Louisville gets the cash.
All right, so put a check mark next to Louisville, minus the 2 for Zack and for Harvard. And speaking of Harvard, make sure you send in that email requesting that Pac-12 Game of the Year. In the subject matter, just put Harvard so I know it's from you. Thank you.